Habertürk'ten herkese merhabalar. Ben İrem Görgü. Ülkelerin enerji dönüşümleri, Rusya ve Ukrayna savaşı sonrası değişen güvenlik politikaları ve yenilenebilir enerji projelerini anlattıkları yeni serimizde bugün İstanbul'da Birleşik Krallık Başkonsolosluğundayız. Yanımda ise Birleşik Krallık İstanbul Başkonsolosu Kenan Poleo var. Kendisiyle Birleşik Krallık'ın enerji projelerini konuşacağız. Thank you so much for welcoming us here.
Thank you for coming in, İrem Hanım.
Thank you. It's really impressive, by the way. Your Turkish is really good.
Thank you. That was just İrem Hanım. Biraz daha sonra Türkçe konuşabiliriz.
Whenever you want, of course. So I would like to start with the offshore wind projects because the world's largest offshore wind farm is set to begin operations in 3 years and generating enough electricity power to 3 million UK homes. Could you provide a little bit more details about this projects and explain how local communities and residents will benefit from it?
Sure. Thank you very much. That's a really great question. And I'm really proud of this project. So Hornsea 3 will be Europe's largest offshore wind farm when it's up and running. And it really denotes the commitment that the UK has in renewables and also in developing really innovative offshore renewable wind projects as well. We have such excellence in the UK. We have something called the Offshore Renewable Energy Catapult up in the north of the UK, which is where we're developing world-class innovation around this really important solution. It will benefit local communities because it will provide consistent and move towards providing cheaper energy. It's always the aim, the more effective it is and reliable, but also it will create jobs as well, the offshore renewable energy supply chain. But in fact, all renewable supply chains create opportunities for really jobs of the future. So for us and for the local communities, exploiting the amazing, really shallow and long coastlines that we have in the UK, it allows us to be kind of world leading in this and work with partners around the world as well. And I mentioned innovation, and it's really exciting because the other area in which we can really put a line in the sand is our work around floating offshore renewable wind and offshore renewable energy. I mean, that's really highly innovative and exciting. So there's huge potential there, and it's pretty exciting given that we now have no coal generation energy in the UK. We shut down our last coal power plant. It's kind of underlining that commitment that we have to a clean, green, prosperous and secure energy future.
That's really impressive. And one of the government's energy strategies is to make UK's electricity system carbon neutral, which is very ambitious target. And how is the UK planning to achieve a carbon neutral electricity system?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think what the government has done is sent out a really clear ambition and roadmap that we want to achieve this as well. So now that we have closed down our final coal-powered energy generation power plant in the UK, we are really moving fast towards that kind of fuller decarbonisation ambition. So creating that space in the energy system for renewables and innovative solutions and better grid management, and that really is the focus of the government. So one of the things that the government has done is created something called GB Energy, Great British Energy, which is a public organisation that is going to drive this commitment to cleaner, greener energy systems, because for us and for everybody around the world, really, including Turkey, what you want to see and what we want to see is we want to see security of supply. So we don't want to be reliant on other providers of energy that may or may not take geopolitical decisions and actions that compromise our own ability to provide energy to our people and our industries. So that's our first ambition. Our second one is just to make sure that we are looking at the future, looking at the industries of the future, and looking at where we expect to see growth. And that's what we're seeing with renewable energy and cleaner energy systems. And I think that the third one is just providing prosperity, it's providing jobs for people as well. So it's responding to the environment, responding to security of supply, and also creating jobs and opportunities for people. So that's our kind of ambition. And our Secretary of State for Energy was in Baku recently, making those points absolutely clear at COP29. I was really pleased to see that our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, met with President Erdogan when they were in Baku as well, just denoting the closeness of the relationship between UK and Turkey, and how there are just a myriad of opportunities for us to collaborate on reaching that cleaner, greener, sustainable and secure energy future together.
Which I'm also going to ask you the collaboration between two countries as well. But before that, I'm going to ask, while the UK has a very ambitious target about this, it is also home to some of the world's largest energy companies as well. How is the balance between these two sides expected to maintain without causing issues to both sides?
So, I mean, the focus on the scale of the transition and the opportunity is there is absolutely paramount for us as well. So we're working closely with a whole range of different companies and solution providers in a really innovative space. So alongside those larger traditional companies, we have developed a really impressive capability there. So I mentioned offshore renewable energy in the all of the industry that we have coalescing around that opportunity, from design through servicing, through maintenance, through wider opportunities that provides. You know, something like hydrogen creates fantastic opportunities for the UK. We've got about 200 hydrogen-focused companies in the UK. And so looking at that as an opportunity for cleaner and more reliable energy systems, where, you know, once again, we're blessed with having really large caverns underneath the North Sea, which are ideal for hydrogen. So that's another area that we'd see, you know, sending a really strong signal that we want to develop. And then there are other areas as well, like carbon capture, usage and storage, because we will still need industry to create goods and products and manufacture that is going to be globally competitive, but also you know, not impactful on the environment. So I think our Secretary of State mentioned concrete, for example, as a great example. To be able to innovate around that with carbon capture, usage and storage, once again, using the geographical capabilities that we have, provides a really great opportunity. So this is really about opportunity, and it's really an opportunity to be world leading in a whole range of different energy systems and responses that the world is hungry for.
So the government announced the autumn budget, and there are lots of details about the renewables and energy as well. So it brings the headline of tax rate on oil activities to 78%, which among the highest in the world. Also, the budget high taxes on private jets and extended incentives for electric vehicles and pledge investment on technologies, including the green hydrogen that we mentioned. So how will this affect in UK in the short term and long term?
Thank you. It's a great question. And thank you for outlining all of those different measures that are there. I think that they are really well thought out, because what they do is they send a really clear signal. They send a clear signal to industry, an industry of all sizes, but they also send a really clear signal to innovators as well around where our priorities lie. And our priorities and our future are in that decarbonised energy system. So the additional taxes on oil and gas sector, and then that being used to fund R&D in green and renewable energies, I think is a really great demonstration of that. But you have to recognise that we in the UK, like Türkiye, like most countries around the world, experiencing a cost of living crisis as well. And so the government has been really keen to see how it can support people's needs now. So one of the greatest ways that people lose energy is through inefficient buildings, and having buildings that aren't able to cope with insulation, keeping it warm. So that warm homes plan of several billion, I think it's around 3.4 billion, will really focus on a fundamental need that people want, which is to stay warm when it gets cold. And the UK can get very, very cold and windy. So you have this autumn statement that's putting out our a huge amount of resource. So our Department for Energy Security and Net Zero will now get 14 billion pounds between 25 and 2026, just to kind of denote that transition, that movement, that ambition. So I think that that's that balance between the here and the now, but also sending those signals for the future.
And how about the stakeholders and the UK citizens? I mean, are there any incentives and programs in place to encourage UK citizens and stakeholders and businesses to adopt renewable energy solutions? Because while the government takes steps about the green energy, the impact will be limited if you don't involve public in this project. So are there any programs and plans about it?
Yeah, absolutely. We recognize that transition is not straightforward, and there's going to be support, and we recognize that people will require support, but also find ways of engaging with communities so they can be part of the solution, a part of that future as well. So, one of the things that we are doing is, we're providing quite a lot of significant support for clean energy solutions and decarbonisation measures in general. And in 2023, sales of battery and plug-in hybrid vehicles reached, about 24% of total car registrations, showing, I think, that the UK is kind of, public is ready to take on this new challenge of transitioning away from other combustion engine systems. So we've aided the rollout through having public charging points across all regions as well. I mentioned the warm homes plan as one that's really going to transform how homes respond to and deal with those kind of cold snaps as well, but rolling out heat pumps and rolling out solar as well, and having smarter homes as well, so that people can really track and monitor and view and see their energy usage and have control over that in a really clear way as well. And I think I mentioned around community and people being at the heart of this, and so we're looking at how we can support more community-owned energy generation as well, which is reducing that pressure on the transmission grid, while giving those local people that stake in how they generate and how they manage their own energy. So combining all of that, you can see that there's quite a lot of incentives and activities that will really help us reach our ambitious ambitious ambitions in this. But I think really what we want to send to the world is a message that this is challenging, but with a plan, there are huge opportunities to do something different and to be really world leading. And that's what I think we want to see. And that's why we want to work in partnership with countries like Turkey, which is the fastest growing energy market in Europe, which is incredible. What opportunities Turkey is going to have.
So before that, I'm going to ask you about the COP29, because UK has very impressive remarks about the renewable energy in the COP29 as well. So how does the UK plan to demonstrate the process towards these ambitious targets, and what strategies are in place to address to any challenges in meeting achieve these goals?
So I think one of the key things that the government has done is be present in COP29. So we had our Prime Minister over in COP29. We had our Minister for Energy Security and Net Zero, our Secretary of State there, Secretary of State Miliband. We had our Trade Secretary there as well, Minister Alexander. We had other ministers there. We had really strong representation there because we feel that we've got something positive to say around that ambition. And we've now set an even further ambition. You mentioned the 81% by 2035 reduction, which is really ambitious, but it sends that signal again to industry that we're taking this theory. We want you to invest. We want you to innovate. We're going to support you with GB Energy, but we also want that message. We can't do any of this in isolation. I love my country. I think it's an amazing, powerful country, but it is, 1% of the population of the world. We have to work together with other countries to address these. So at COP, our Secretary of State, announced that there's going to be new incentives and new bonds that will allow us to support developing economies with their energy transition. So that leadership, that partnership, but recognizing that some of the countries in the world are going to have far more challenging issues to contend with. And it is those developing countries that are going to be impacted by climate change the most. So COP29 is a great opportunity to be in the room with other world leaders, with other politicians, and make the case for why we all need to work together on this huge existential challenge that we are facing, as will our children, as will our grandchildren, unless we address and move forward.
So lastly, of course, I want to ask you about Turkey, because the UK and Turkey have a very long and rich history of cooperation. So how has the UK collaborated with Turkey in the field of renewable energy and green transformation? And what areas do you see having the most potential collaboration between two countries?
Thank you. Yani fırsatlarımız bol. Bence, I have to say, I am really excited about what we're doing currently, but also what we can do in the future as well. So I'm really excited that we have worked closely with Turkey to take forward some really exciting projects. So Karapinar, which is going to be one of the largest solar power plants in Europe, has been backed up and supported and funded by UKEF, which is our UK export financing. It's our version of Exim Bank. And that project then allows British companies and Turkish companies to work together on this amazing, huge facility. So I think that's a really great example. That was world beating. At the time, that was the largest ever civil and energy project that UKEF, who've been around for over 100 years, have ever funded. So that's supported financially. So that really denotes the importance and the opportunity that's there. I think other projects is, the moving around in this, massive country, beautiful country with a large population, and moving around in a carbon efficient way is another area where we've worked together. So we have worked together on several high-speed rail lines in Türkiye, where once again we're looking to see how we can connect up Turkish and British companies to provide those solutions on something that will be world-beating. It will be transformative. I'm very excited about those lines when they come on, and that is a really solid example of how the UK and Türkiye are working together now on projects that will have a huge impact on clean growth. Now, we know that Türkiye has ambitions to have more renewable energy, both solar and wind. So we know that Türkiye has plans to quadruple, to increase by fivefold its energy from renewables, specifically from solar and wind by 2035. So huge opportunities to connect up British know-how, British expertise, British innovation, with Turkish amazing manufacturing and engineering capabilities that you have here as well. And we are seeing that. I mean, our trade relationship with Türkiye is huge. It's over 23 billion pounds a year. And I think this is another area where you will see a lot more collaboration between UK and Türkiye. Another really exciting area is, of course, around small modular reactors, around nuclear as well. And I know that Türkiye is, as well as trying to respond to its climate and environmental needs and commitments, it's also looking at security of supply, which is so important. So something like small modular reactors, which are able to provide localized, rapid solutions in particular areas or regions, or able to, I've had really innovative things, being used as a feeding source for hydrogen, for example, which is another area where it could be used. That capability, where you have, company like Rolls-Royce who are championing this. Incidentally, their CEO is of course Turkish as well. So you have that amazing connection with this incredible, prolific British company. What could be more British than Rolls-Royce? Looking for those opportunities here in Türkiye on that SMR program, I think presents huge opportunities for the future. So I am hopeful that when our ministers, Minister Bayraktar and Secretary of State Miliband are able to meet, they'll be able to kind of go through a whole range of different areas where the UK and Türkiye can collaborate, not just to benefit each other's markets and each other's countries and each other's populations, but develop new services, new products that would be globally interesting and globally relevant. And that, I think, is really exciting.
Thank you so much for welcoming us here once again and answering this question. It was really insightful and fun. So thank you very much.
Ben de çok memnun oldum. Çok teşekkür ederim şu geldiniz. İyi ki geldiniz. Okay.
I did say before, your Turkish is very good.
Okay, şöyle böyle.
Thank you once
Thank
again.
you very much. Thank you.